Rating. And here we go. All right. All
What's
right. All right.
what's happening?
All right. A little something here. A little something that I always love to put on here. I leave that up. I leave that up just so everybody knows what they're waiting for. What they're waiting for, then I hit them with.
Oh yeah.
Hey, what's going on? This Will, Guitar Stringing 352. Welcome to the show tonight. Welcome to the show. And I just want to say before I get into this, everybody who's watching, say hi in the chat room. That would be wonderful. You say hi, I will recognize you. I don't like to leave anybody out of this. And
Exactly.
before I get into this, haha, happy Halloween, everybody. Tonight, the Dreamer is hanging with none other than Joe Walla.
Man, the myth, the legend in my own mind just asked me.
Guitarist, creator of the amazing Joe Walla band.
How you guys
Very
doing up there?
important.
Hi.
Everybody, if you like my content, please follow my social links in the description box below. Check out my PayPal link in the description box below. $1. Just 4 quarters. It's all I require. Just $1, 4 quarters to get one step closer to my goal. Now, will you share my stream and my links with everybody that you know so today we can make a positive difference in someone's life? Thank you so very much for joining me, and hit that subscribe button and smash that bell notification. Very important, so you don't miss out on any future content from Guitar Streaming 352. You have been beautiful. I have been Will. We are live, and hopefully I'll see you in the next live stream. This stream is dedicated to my PayPal donors.
Nice.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Goes to Design 39 Media. Eric Broadbent, Music Gear Network. Thank you, thank you for your continued support. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for being a part of my family of dreamers. And also a very big thank you goes to Dimbula Blade Works in Victoria, Australia. Check it out. Check out what Dimbula's got going on. He makes some gnarly knives and
Nice.
swords. He's a good dude, good, kind dude.
Nice.
Be sure to check out, uh, well, my question, Joe Wally, you are an inspiration to me.
Well, thanks for having me on, first of all, and thanks for finding me out again. It's been a long time since I've seen you.
A
Long
long
time.
time,
So, how cool is that? After about what, 10 years, I think, of
10 years, Joe.
when it was the original Joe Walla band playing all over the high desert. I called it. We were the Kings of the Desert. And it's funny. That was like the last T-shirt we made was the Kings of the Desert, and I ended up calling a band after the Kings of the Desert. And I went to the Kings, but it was with Richard Caland and my current drummer again, Mr. George Nowicki, and we're all back together except for Rich. Rich has been doing his thing around the country or playing bass for some guys along the way. So I always wished him well, and would love to do a reunion one day with them guys just for fun. I got a new bass player in the Joe Walla band. That's Hector Chaparro. This guy's a mean mother when it comes to playing bass. So I'm very appreciative to have these guys back on. And there's been many different Joe Walla bands over the last 10 years and the Kings. So we could talk about wherever you want to take them from this point going forward, my brother. You ask
Well,
the questions, I'll answer.
I'll tell you, everybody who is here, everybody in the chat, please, please
Oh, I
say
see.
hi. We are right here. Myself, Will Dunham, Guitar Streaming 352. Joe Walla, we're here to say hi. We will say hi back to you.
Definitely.
I can guarantee you that. So, Joe, I would like to ask you, please, sir, what is your favorite piece of guitar gear and why?
uh, I gave you the grand tour just basically before we started, and I got like 92, 93. I'm not sure. I just bought something recently, a little Les Paul Junior or something like that. And I got it around me. You could see something like this one behind me here, this Gulf one. I had this Gibson Explorer. I got a couple of different Explorers I play now. I got a ton of Les Pauls. So what's my favorite one? I mean, I'll probably later when I do some rips for you. I got so many. I change them. I go on when I play a show. I usually bring about 6 guitars for a 2.5-hour show. So I'll change through them, depending on the sound, whatever. I mean, I got every brand that you can imagine that's out there. So do I have a specific favorite? I got on a Gibson. First, I started with Fender Strats. If you remember correctly, I had a ton of Fender Strats. One time I had 20 of them, and I kind of cut it down to 10, kept some of the better ones. Got some Paul Reed Smiths. I got Gibsons. Like I said, I got a lot of Gibsons now. You see behind me, almost this whole wall is Gibson. I don't really specifically. I've been running the same head that you saw me with 10 years ago. It's a Joe Satriani 120-watt head. It's probably the cheapest one out there, and it's been the monster. And I'm still running the Mills cabinets that I used, the 2 412 cabinets. And those have been really with vintage 30s, and it's like a 300-watt cabinet, so it holds a lot of power. But I told you I got a couple of heads that are laying around the house already now. I got a Randall Satan head that really hasn't seen the light. Carbon B3, same thing. And I have a John Eisel, who's a custom amp builder out there. And if you guys ever seen his stuff, he builds nothing but high-gain monster amps. He built one custom for me with the extra 30 dB kicker on there. It says no fear on it. So when I really want to go extra loud, I just flip that little switch and just piss everybody off and say, hey, what do you got there? I see you holding something up. What do you got?
Well, sorry, not to cut you off. Have you?
A Friedman.
Yeah. Have you tried this right here?
No, I'll tell you to send it to me, and then I'll try it, and then maybe you'll get it back. Just kidding, Will. How is it?
You know, when you turn the volume up, dime the volume,
right,
and turn the gain down,
right,
like I did on the top channel, right? Okay, like I did on the top channel right there.
Right.
This channel, it's so organic, and it's clear. I mean, it's just crystal clear. And when you dime the volume, it actually works like an amp. You actually get some headroom from a pedal. It's crazy.
I've seen some of those. My buddy that we were talking about earlier, and I'll throw him out in the wind now. Rusty's Cool Guitars out of North Carolina. I think it's Charleston. John Campy is my buddy out there. If you guys want to see some cool stuff, and he's got some high-end pedals like that as well, and it's all tube driven. I've been asking to get them, but I was like sitting around. Hang on, and I got this Lux Tone thing because I'm doing all these racing events now. So all my guitars,
Joe.
all is wild, and it's got the burnt maple neck on it, so it's pretty crazy. So we'll do a little. Just a little bit. We'll come back to it later, but I wanted to show this thing off because he's got the coolest guitars on the planet. If you haven't heard of this guy, check him out. Rusty's
I
Guitars.
will check him out.
.com, and he's out there, and he's got some amazing high-end guitars. He's got some nice ones in from, I guess, Fano. Dennis Fano had made some cool guitars back for a while, and he sold out some of his designs. So Revolta is where Fano's designs have gone. So if anybody's a Fano guitar fan, he's got them for relatively inexpensive, from like about $700-800 up to about $1,200-1,300. So that's a good guitar for the price. He got me hooked on the high end ones. So I've been doing nothing. The Palers, the Lux Tones. I got a few hallmarks from him. I got what do we got sitting? The Walla guitar on the floor over here. So I'm just a nut about guitars. So when it comes to stuff like that, I couldn't get technical. What I do, how I make the sound, what I do, I just tweak it and go. That's the way I play. It's always win and loud. Ask most bar owners.
Well, you mentioned Paul Reed Smith.
Right.
I love those guitars. I always told myself that if I could ever get a 2410 top or a single cut, I'd do it. They are. I just never really been able to do it. That's one thing. You remember just starting out.
Right.
When you're just starting out, it's you need a lot of help when you're yeah, that's the one.
This is not a 10 top. It's an artist model though. All the gold designer, the gold plating, gold lock and tuners. I have a green jade one exactly like this as well with the flame top on it. These two have been monsters. I mean, they're great for surf. They're great for all around guitars. So just recently I did the job. I think you saw me at Jawbone store years ago too as well. And we did Jawbone first time in like 10 years. And I brought one of the Paul Reeds out there to play. And I figured I'll just use it for a song or two. I ended up using it most of the night. It sounded like it was perfect. So to me, I've gotten some strange stuff. I got an ESP Strat. That's cool. But, it's just a matter of what tone you're looking for. And then when you get as crazy as me and you buy a ton of these things, it's like, how do you figure out what you're going to play? I drive my girlfriend nuts every time I go out to a show. I'm playing guitars every night to figure out which one do I really want to take tonight.
Yeah.
So, when you say about different brands, I think I've become a connoisseur. And I said that I would never own a Paul Reed Smith or a Les Paul because it was kind of snobby. Well, I own 6 Paul Reeds, 10 Les Pauls. I got behind me, I got the Firebird. I got a couple of Vs. I got 3 Explorers. I got that SG. There's an orange SG.
That's another one I like.
That's the only SG, though. That's the only one I ever bought. And I got a bunch of lap steels now, too. It's another one of those things. I feel like David, what's it, David, I can't think of his name. The El Rayo X guy. David, I went blank. Anyway, crazy about a Mercury. David Lindley.
Well, that's great. And again, that's for those that are just joining us, that's rustycoolguitars.com. Check it out. I know I will be. That is phenomenal. We have a few people in the chat here.
Well, I see them popping up. A few of our friends are already loaded in. Hey, Deb, what's happening?
Deborah, found you again. Joe Walla, LOL. Shared. Hi, Deborah. My name is Will, your host, Guitar Streaming 352. Welcome. Welcome to this wacky world of mine, and welcome to the ever-changing world of Guitar Streaming 352. You are more than welcome to be here anytime you want. If you like hanging out, if you want to be a part of stuff, hang out and stick around for a while. And I hope to see your name again. Thank you so very, very, very much, Deborah, for coming today. Thank you. And
Yeah, it's
we
good.
also have Doug.
Doug's out of I think Indianapolis, I believe. Doug, is that where you're out of? He'll send us a note back, I'm sure. I can't remember. I just sent him a bunch of T-shirts. I got JoeWalla'Band.com. So if you guys are out there, we got the new Joe Walla Rockin' and Racing T-shirt out. It's got the funny car and a blue Les Paul on the back of it, and we've been doing that, doing a lot of drag racing events across the Northwest this past couple of years. Some of the cool things I've been doing is we hooked up with Bucky Austin, who's one of the world famous nitro operating and alcohol funny car owners up there. His family was like notorious, like Pat Austin and Drew Austin and all Walt Austin. They're all famous racing family from the Northwest up there in Seattle. So I thank them a lot for helping us out and getting across and playing a lot of these rock and roll and drag racing events. The days of playing, a club for 45 minutes and bring 100 people and pay to play are like, it's not what to do anymore. I mean, if you're playing cover music, you can make a $300, $500 a night kind of gig, but it's not paying what you do anymore. I mean, how many Van Halen songs can you hear? How many somebody else's song can you hear? I'm just not. And the worst part about doing a lot of that, I mean, I play some covers, so I can't slam cover guys because they work hard at what they're doing. So all of it's great. But if you play a cover song and it's kind of really bad, and you play your own original song, what do you say? If you heard a bad cover band, you're going to say that sucked and then walk out. I didn't like what Joe Walla played, and he was just loud. I didn't like it. It wasn't my cup of tea. You don't know the song. You heard it. So that's one of the things I like about original music, because you can't compare it to somebody else if you're trying to be somebody, your own. So that's kind of my thought on a lot of that. But yeah, we played Seattle, Spokane, Carson City. We've done, like I said, Bakersfield a bunch of times out there for the Hot Rod reunion and March meet. Done some Saturday night nitro racing. This is where we have a good crowd. We go to drag racing. It's already a built-in crowd. People love rock and roll and they love drag racing. So it's a perfect match.
Well, I think that the cover bands, I've seen some terrific, very convincing tribute acts.
Oh, they're off the hook. The good ones.
But they put so much into it that I just kind of feel like you have to be a certain caliber type of musician, music lover, music enthusiast to be able to pull that off, because a lot of times, like the Zeppelin tribute bands and Van Halen tribute bands, that stuff is sacred ground. And
AC/DC, and there's a lot of those out there that do covers.
Scary. Yeah, I wouldn't want to screw it up. I wouldn't want to mess it up.
Right. Well, here's a good one for you. My sister's husband plays in one of the premier tribute bands across the country, and you guys are going to laugh because when I say the name, it's Super Diamond, and they do Neil Diamond tribute.
That's beautiful.
But they've been on David Letterman. Neil Diamond's come up and played with them because they're that good. They're that good. If you look at the Hot August Night album cover, they look just like they stepped off that cover, and they sound just like Neil. So, yeah, they're worth every penny that they earn, and they do make good money. But think about this for a minute. All the tribute bands that are doing tribute because they're jumping on because it's making you a lot more money. Because original guys, I don't know what you do. Why don't you come out to the club and, hey, maybe we'll give you a bone or a free dinner, and you'll play for the exposure, right? The key word. They don't know. So as these tribute bands and cover bands continue to do, and they don't find their own originality, where's the next original bands coming? Guess what? Techno has taken over because you know why? All I need is one guy, and that's it. I don't need, and these guys are drawing 100,000 people a show sitting behind the turntable. Think about it. These things behind me are coming obsolete. So where are we going to take the next step to? We need to find our own originality and stay original, write our own music. I know certain guys, they work hard all their life, and that's all they want to do is just play somebody else's music. God bless you. I'm not kicking you. But there still needs to be the guys behind like us pushing forward the future, because if we don't have our own original sound, I've been doing this all my life, and I don't feel like I got a whole lot of time left on it. We're not kids anymore, being the guys. So when you become an adult per se, and if it doesn't make you money, guess what? You're falling apart. I do it for a weekend warrior gig, drinking a couple of beers with my bros. I have a steak after work, and that's it. I still have the passion to go forward. So to me, I just think keep hammering. I mean, I almost killed my guys this week. I almost killed myself this weekend. We're putting the stage up. We're doing all the stuff that we need to do. So when you ask the questions about groupies and all that stuff down the road and rock and roll and sex and all that stuff, it's just rock and roll. That's all it is. There's no sex. There's no drugs. The drugs I'm taking now is probably to make me stand up in the morning,
I'm telling you, it's I'm very impressed by any artist that will tell me, it's all about the music. It's all about the music. It's all about the music. And I'm thinking to myself, that warms my heart to hear that.
Right.
Because,
right. You definitely need to have guys like us pushing forward. I mean, there's a lot of great musicians out there.
Yeah.
And the bad part is you're probably never going to hear about them unless they get the break. But just remember, there's times in life. Hollywood blew up in the 80s for all those metal bands that popped up, and then it became a cookie cutter. You look like a chick with tights on, and you sang a ballad on every album, and that was the key. And everybody kind of had their hands out and got deals. So think about those guys. They're still trying to do it today. You got Poison, Motley Crue's making another comeback. Warren's still out there. Rat. So all those guys are still touring around, living on the past stuff. What about the guys going forward? I mean, we can't stay lost in an era as much as we want to. We need to keep progression. I mean, I love playing different styles of music, so that's one of the things that I do with every show. I'll go from surf to semi-quasi hillbilly style to heavy metal to just straightforward rock and roll. Just love playing all styles. So that's always been one of the things I try to do and give people a whole variety of songs. So if they say, well, you're AC/DC, so you're doing this all night, right? No. And that's AC/DC all night long. I just told my girl that I go, listen to every beat. It's just, that it's the beat, and that's what keeps you going. So that was their signature. So we're just trying to find a new way to keep going or just keep the people happy. And that's one of the most important part to me is the fans that are out there coming to see you every night and making them part of the show. I remember you saw us at Gusto's out there in Barstow, and I remember doing some crazy stuff when I had all my wireless. I'd go in the back and play by the pool tables and use the pool balls, and the guys would give me the cue sticks, and they'd get a knife or their beer mugs, and I'd be sliding guitar off of stuff, and everybody thinks that's part of the show, and they become part of that show. So I always love doing something crazy like that to get them to be part of it. You're paying money to go to a club. You're going out nights. You want to have a good time. And that's one of the things that I try to make sure is the most important thing, that everybody that comes out, I don't want them to stand there and just say, wow, okay, that's Joe Walla. Great. He's loud. Let's go home. I don't want that to happen. I want people to go home happy. I want them to be. those guys were great. That band was great. You can't win them all, but we try. I still can't sing for the hell of it, but everything's yeah. I just blow out the speakers. So I'm babbling on. Ask questions because I figure we got at least 17 hours to go on here. You can grill me for that long.
Hey, no problem. Deborah says, thanks, man. I am. Well, thank you, Deborah. Thank you. Deborah says, howdy.
I see people joining in and out, so hopefully we grab some more people as the night goes on. I didn't know the link beforehand, so you guys have to forgive me for not getting it all out there to everybody. What's that say? Yeah, Doug said something there. I don't know what that is.
Doug, let's see. Doug says, yep, nerd. TGRABITYG.
Exactly.
Cool.
Whatever.
That'll work. Happy engagement code. Yeah, you know what? Kudos. Good job, man. Congratulations.
We just played at the Hot Rod reunion just recently, and my girl, she's been living with me for almost 2 years, and I figured we always kid about getting married and stuff like that. So I figured the cool thing to do is first I sold my Lincoln. I had an old 67 Lincoln, so I sold it to one of my buddies in Michigan. And I'm thinking, okay, what am I going to do with the money? We're going to buy a house. So I'm thinking about buying a house. So she says to me, she goes, we need a bed. I go, well, that's going to be your engagement ring. Because beds nowadays are just off the hook. So we went to go look at this place, and I found a mattress that's called a diamond. So I go, this is the biggest effing diamond you're gonna ever get. So I'm gonna get you your hand next to it. And it's a king size diamond. So I bought her a diamond mattress. So that was the first thing. So we go to play the Hot Rod reunion. Her daughters come up, and I told everybody that I could possibly tell to come out. 15th song. I'm going to ask her to marry me. So I pull her up on stage, and it's the first time I'm seeing little tears coming from her eyes. I'm like, I got her a nice little chip.
That's
so,
Joe, congratulations.
Man. Well, thank you. I mean, this is just kind of the crazy stuff that I'll pull off somewhere, and she said yes. So we just got to figure out where we're going to do this big event now. I got to get all 5,000, 10,000 of my fans out there and friends to come party with us. So I think it's going to be a cheapprickgroom.com that's going to spring for tacos and maybe a Coors Light for everybody. That's all you get because that's all I can afford.
It's beautiful, man.
Hey, just to share in the love. That's what it's all about. Make it like, maybe I'll go up to, what was that one up there? I'll go to Altamont, man. We'll recreate Altamont. It'll be 4 days of love and grooviness. The things that come out of my head, I know.
I wonder if you could get Jimi Hendrix's spirit to ascend out of heaven and land on the stage at 6 o'clock in the morning, man.
Yeah, it just kind of, yeah, baby. We'll just.
There you go.
All right, enough of that for now. I just got to throw it in because it's just like we're talking guitar dreaming. So, for all those cats out there,
That is a gorgeous, gorgeous guitar right now.
Like I was telling you, it's a Lux tone. When I started doing all these guitars and getting them painted custom for me, I have a Moon Eyes one. The Gulf one is in honor of my dad's Gulf station when I was a kid. So I'm trying to get all these racing guitars since we do that deal. So I got a couple of more I'm thinking about painting up. I got a buddy named Paul Aiken. He's Hot Rod Junkies out there in Nevada. He's one of the painters, and also Wayne Jarrett on the East Coast. And he's painted Richard Petty's cars and the guys from Alabama's guitars. So I'm thinking about sending him one and sending another one up to Paul since he's closer, and doing some like crazy colors. So, you know, I just got to do something crazy once in a while. Hi, honey.
that left to him, man. That is really, I've just heard though, that brand right there is something of myth and legend. You know?
I mean, I'd love to play louder, but I'm running through the board because my neighbors usually bang on the floor ups down below. So I called them and prepped them and told them I would play a little bit. So I figure I can get away for just a little taste. So you got to get a little dreaming on there for all the guitar guys. I'll unplug it and use another crazy one in a minute.
That is a marvelous instrument right there.
Well, thank you, sir. It's always good to kind of show off a little bit because I could sit and do this all night long, and I usually do this on Facebook every once in a while and go live and irritate the neighbors, as I call it. I see we got more people popping on. I'm looking at the thing, and I'm like, oh, yeah, we got more guests. Thanks for watching, Pete and Dee and Doug. I appreciate you guys.
Absolutely.
So what other questions you thinking about that you thought were kind of pertinent for tonight's what's your most memorable? Oh, that's a good question right there. What's my most memorable show? Okay, here's a couple of good ones that I really remember a lot. We did a show at the AV Fairgrounds a couple of years ago when it was the original Joe Walla band. We played with Foghat. We were the headliner the next day when it was just the local bands, and then we opened for Foghat that night. And the funny part is that I think we kind of killed them. I gave away a ton of CDs in between their set when they were playing. People were saying, and we just killed them guys that night. But Foghat's Foghat. So that was cool. We did a show with Molly Hatch, and that was the picture that you were using on your thumbnail. That was cool. I remember playing the show. Before the show, Molly Hatch, they sent a guy over with a little skinny guy with a big bobtail truck and to unload all the Molly Hatchet gear. So I brought all my buddies and my friends to come up and help us. So we helped this kid unload the truck because we figured, man, this guy's going to kill himself. It's on this angle. He's coming down with marshals, and all right, let's help him. So the band arrives, and we get this. Come on, guys, come on. I need some guys here to help us unload the van, right? There's six guys. Man. There's 6 guys in the Molly Hatchet van, right? 6 guys. They ain't touching nothing. This is their stage manager yelling at me to unload the guitars and the sticks. Really, we just helped them unload stuff and did them a favor. I said, this guy's a prick. So I figure this isn't going to be a good night. So we go to play. They had no clue who we are, what we've done. We've already won a bunch of awards on Outlaw Radio, if you remember that one. Outlaw Radio, we were number 2 artist for the year. Molly Hatchet was number 8, and Leonard Skinner was number 1. And it had Metallica and all the rest of the bands on. So I have no clue how we got to be number 2. We're unsigned, and we're doing this show for Outlaw Radio. So I remember this was the coolest. At the end of our show, the same guy doing this to me all night. Hey, man, Bobby Earl wants to meet you. Bobby Earl's the guitar player. Great. I'd love to meet Bobby Earl. I'd love to meet the guys. I'm sitting out with Phil Levick, Phil Levick Dave Levick at the end of the my set trying to get some air, and he's telling me fishing stories, which was way cool. And I go, I need a prick like you to be our manager. And he's laughing. And I'm like, oh, I'm honest. He goes, you can't afford me. Well, I go, I need a guy like you to take care of our business. So it was kind of fun to see that. And then in the middle of their set, Phil, the singer, he asked for one of our shirts, which was cool. He puts it on, but first he does this. These guys kicked ass tonight. And the place is going crazy. And it emptied out after we played, which was even cooler. And it just made me feel great to know that all our guys, that we put in the effort and we got a great reception. There was like 600 people showed up for us. And when Molly Hatchet was done, there was like 100 people for Molly Hatchet. And these guys are huge.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we were getting record deals signed, set out us that night too, and we didn't sign them because I had a bad manager at the time, and he thought we were back in the '80s and said you get a better deal. Oh well, I lived and learned a very valuable lesson. Those are two of the cool moments of playing Jawbone Store out in the middle of the desert. All the shows that we played out there. We did Qualcomm Stadium one year with the big biker event. Remember all the biker build-offs?
Oh, yeah.
We did a thing for Harold Pontarelli, who was one of the builders, invited us to play Qualcomm. And this is the first time we made anything over $1,000 and got hotels. So we were all excited. We're going to Qualcomm. That was cool. I got to meet the Count Custom. Now he's too big for everybody, but it was cool. We were hung out with Danny Coker then. We were hanging out with Alan Lee and bunch of other great builders. It was such a cool thing to do, because when you say how many shows that we did like 80 shows a year when it was the Joe Walla Band in the beginning. So we're looking to get to that again, but I don't know if my body will hold up for this stuff. After we did Seattle one year with the Kings. It was Jose Ferro and Ned the Big Kahuna Gray, and at the end of the show I jump around so much. I did like the sword and what is it, Excalibur. I was stuck to the stage. I needed them guys to pick me up off the stage. That's how man, you're talking to see, now you open up a whole can of worms for me. I'm just like it's all running back. I mean, Tehachapi, when we did the Veterans Mountain runs up there, we did like 4 of them, and the last one I remember I played for almost like 3.5 hours nonstop. I remember that. And I was laying flat dead on the stage as the guys were breaking down and going, I can't move. I'm done. And I remember that one. There's so many great memories, man. Playing live and meeting the people and shaking hands and kissing babies, as they say. That's the coolest part. You see their faces at the end of the night and they're looking to get a little something from you, whether it's a little signature or whatever. To me, that's always been the coolest. It's always been cool to shake hands and get to meet new people like yourself. I mean, this is how we met. You remember me from doing something crazy. I mean, one day I'll learn to play the damn thing, but until then, I'll just fake it.
Yeah, I remember walking out of the joint and walking out of the bar, and it was still daylight, and I was like going, wow, man. And you were standing out there, and I remember I was introduced to you, and I knew, when I met you, I knew a simpatico spirit, man. I could feel it. And I was very at ease. You made me very at ease, man. And I will always remember that and be thankful for that.
The thing is to me, this is one very important aspect about no matter what you do in the public eye, whatever it is, don't forget to take the moments and say hello to somebody. If somebody's standing waiting to say hello to you and you're busier than hell, I love you, brother. Let me shake your hand and I'll try to catch up with you in a little bit. Let me say something. but it's always important to give back something to that person. It's like we're all touching and giving each other that electrical spark, you know. We could be on the negative or we could be on the positive. So if we're on the negative, that negative shit goes to everybody, you know. So
Oh yeah.
I mean, I was talking, you know, before the show started, and we were talking about the band that broke up about 2010. George went to Kansas because he needed to make a living, and you know, there's nothing promised in a rock and roll band. There's never a promise that you're going to make $1 million. And we thought we were doing good. We won awards. Got management. We got this and this and this and this, but it fell apart. So I had commitments in Kennewick, Washington. Kennewick, Washington had a Eagle 106.7 was playing our song, The Pusher, which was a Steppenwolf song. And they played Fallen Kings and Twisted Mind. It was in rotation for 3 years. So I finally got a chance to go up there and play. Corvettes on the River and the Joe Walla Band. Corvettes on the River was like a king size. Joe Walla Band was like this. So we drew nothing. We went up there and played for, I think it was $2,500 or something like that, plus rooms. And it didn't really come back out of that. I spent more money than it was worth. And I came back very depressed, and I was very, you know, the world meant nothing anymore to me. I was picking up a handgun thinking, oh, this is over. It's time for me to waste myself. You know, I've gotten a dark space. And so, you know, I figured I'll close out my 401k or whatever I had. I go buy a motorcycle. I bought a chopper, and I drove around the world with this thing for about 5 years, and I almost killed myself on it. Have an accident. I wake up in the morning one day, and I say, you know what? I'm going to eat the pavement at 65. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, after telling a few people more on Highway 1 down there, Pacific Coast Highway, I'm getting airlifted off. But I don't realize that I've actually been on a stretcher or a gurney yet. I'm laying down, and I see a tall guy standing over me. One of the guys was riding, and I'm thinking I'm dead. So I'm waiting for the rocks to come off my head or the flowers or whatever. And I'm going, dude, is everybody okay? And he says, yeah. I go, good, get me the hell up. Then I hear a voice on the side of me saying, hey, you may never walk again. I go, this is awesome. And then I hear these voices. This is what I call the God moment. I hear my my sister yelling at me because I was a type 2 diabetic. I still am. But at the time I was like, I'll eat anything because I didn't give a shit. I just want to die. I don't care. I'll eat whatever. I don't care. I don't care. Whatever. I don't care. Then I heard my friend Alfred, who's been dead for 7 years, yelling to get up. So this is how I know there's somebody on the other side. And then the last thing I remember before he put me in the helicopter was, I'm buying guitars. At the time I had 50 of them, and I was starting to buy expensive ones like these Paul Reeds and a few others. What happens if my hands never touch the wood again?
That's right.
And that was the last thing I thought about before they put me in the helicopter. And that when I got there, life had it. This is what I called 10. It was 10, 12, 14. I call that day a day of rebirth for me, because nothing was more important to me than waking up and saying, man, I'm lucky to be here. I have a purpose to be alive again. So I've been trying to do this ever since. And I've been very fortunate. I've been very blessed. The more optimistic that, life still sucks at times, but most of the time it's a great life. I've done some pretty amazing things. If I was to die, I've done some cool shit. That's all I got to say to people. I played with big name bands. I've got to meet some of my heroes. I got heroes in the racing community that I hang out with. Who knew? Who knew that good things would come? If you want it, just go out there and get it. That's what I got to say to everybody. Don't sit on the side road wishing I woulda, coulda, shoulda, shit. Just get your ass off the couch and go do something. Life is going to pass us by. Every day people are dying around us that are close. And what happens when it's our turn? Do we do something? My favorite little saying is something that was on an RTD bus years ago. Leave your mark on the world, not on an RTD bus. So that's kind of been the thing. And the last philosophy is that dream big and live bigger. That's my quote. You can.
I'm glad you said that. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I'll tell you, to go right in line with that.
Right.
my stepfather, who deceased, passed on. Before he died, he he gave me a saying. He told me a saying. He said, whatever, because he saw I was struggling. He saw that I was dealing with some stuff, and he saw that I was, life was getting kind of hard again. And he said, whatever the mind of William Starr Dunham can believe and conceive, William Starr Dunham can achieve.
Amen.
When he said that, I went back to Barstow in a wheelchair,
That's not good.
and I went back to school in a wheelchair, and and I over that saying has stuck with me today. And lo and behold, here I am talking to you tonight. And the reason why I started the whole guitar streaming 352 thing is because I want to be like the mighty Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Right.
I want people to know that Will Starr was here.
And you got to do that. I mean, that's but then again, some people have different purposes in life. So there's a lot of people that aren't meant to entertain, but as long as you do the best you can in your life, if it's your goal to have a family and raise kids, God bless you. You know, that's a stress in itself. And to be somebody who can bring up the kids that aren't messed up at the end of the day and they have good lives, then you've done a good thing. So my pathway's always been to play music, and I've given up so much for it. But just by talking about it a little bit and realizing as I say and stuff, it brought me to good things now. I mean, I got my girl now. We're going to talk about, we're talking about getting married. I asked her to marry me last weekend. I mean, I said this after 58 years of being alive. I said I'll never do it, and I'll never get married. I told her in the beginning, I go, I'm a rock and roll guy. I'll never do this. It was about a week after I put it on my radio show, Rockin' and Racing. And I said, hi, honey. Started talking about that's my girl. So it's been meant to be. So what can I do? I know that certain things are happening. I hope that she doesn't feel that once this rock and roll thing gets on the freight train again, she's part of it. She's going to be part of my life and where we're going. We know at the end of the day, God willing, we got more songs on radio coming around again. I mean, we've been very fortunate, but right now I'm at building block stage with the guys we got now, and it's still fresh to them and it's old to me. So we're writing songs. We're going to be doing some new CDs. I got 7 CDs out there already. Unfortunately, now I just burn them because I don't have a way to package them. I don't have a lot of money to invest in packaging them So if anybody's looking to find these, you can get a hold of me at joewallaband.com or email me at joewallarocks@gmail.com and send me a note saying, hey, man, I'd love to get them. How much you charge me? And we'll negotiate for all 7 CDs. I'll do like $20 for all 7 or something like that just to get them out to you. My favorite thing that I've done, though, I did a solo album without the guys, just me and my producer at the time, and it was all instrumental. It was surf. It was laid back surfy stuff, and I wish I should have sent you some links, but hey, I'm promoting the Joe Waller Band now. But that was one of my favorite CDs.
Beautiful.
And that's been cool, so this is some of the things that I know. What other questions we got? Because I could keep taking us down a pathway. This could turn into 17 hours.
No. It's okay. I'm glad that you're talking about that. And I was gonna ask you a few things. Deborah says, "Damn, you look bad."
She must have saw the picture. She must have looked back and seen those face busted up. My teeth were busted up. I broke a couple of ribs back then, and I still got some scars. I still got scars to show it, but that's life, man. I think that's life. That's what we do. The more scars you got, the better your life's been.
Well, thank you, Deborah. Thank you for hanging out and thank you for your comment. Deborah, you're amazing. Thank you. Mike Ostrom, am I saying that right? Ostrom?
Mike Ostrom, yes. He's had a lot of pictures and stuff. So you could find him on his page there too. So if anybody wants to see some more pictures that you haven't seen on my Facebook page.
Dave says hello. Hi, Dave, and welcome.
Dave Kawakami, he's in the Midwest. He's one of our drag racing and rock and roll buddies. He has his own show in the Midwest. So welcome aboard, Dave.
Hey, Dave. My name is Will. This is my little night gig, Guitar Streaming 352. Welcome. Thank you very much for being here tonight.
Yeah, we got a bunch of people. What were you going to ask me before we sidetracked?
No, that's okay.
Pete, what's your favorite? What's his? Oh, he likes the Spanish. It's called the Tierra de Guitaristas Grandes, meaning the land of the big guitars. So it's all got the big sounding guitar stuff. Maybe I'll do a couple, but before we run out on the. But I'm still on that shred mode. I picked up this thing. This is one of Rusty School's guitars that I got. This is Rock and Roll Relics. It's not a Les Paul.
Oh, Rock and Roll Relics, Billy.
Oh, you know Billy Rowe.
Billy Rowe. As a matter of fact, I have talked to Billy Rowe a couple of times last couple of days via email. I love his work. I love his instruments.
This guitar absolutely screams. You're going to hear it's going to sound the same, but
that is beautiful.
This is definitely knocked off of a 59 Les Paul, and it's almost to the T. It's aged down. So usually when I'm sitting around the house, I always do these crazy little. This is kind of the tone on it. This is a great. It sings. I mean, it literally sings this guitar. I mean, this is one of those when you say Billy Rowe.
Yeah.
If I can afford to buy more of these, this 2 Les Pauls is what this thing cost me. So
yes.
And this is like, Billy, if you're listening to the show, I'd love to be one of your artists because these guitars, there's nothing that compares. I'm a Gibson fanatic. This has outdone it. So I love the tone. This one goes on the road with me a lot, but I try not to take it because it costs me too much money. But you know me, I'll take it anyway. I've actually had a bar stool on this one. You know, it's just an example so people know what I'm doing, right?
Well,
go ahead. I was going to do this real quick just to show, give them a little bit, you know, go. I do this kind of crazy stuff when we play live. So that's kind of the crazy stuff we do when we're playing live. I'll take a bar stool and knife. You remember, I think one night Billy gave me that red, white, and blue Easy Rider helmet. I was running the guitar off my head that night too. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was a heck of a night. That was a great night.
uh,
Um,
go ahead.
Well, Billy, if Billy Rowe, if you're watching, sir, we're talking about the show, and I'd really love to. I really, really would love to have you on the show, Billy Rowe. I love your guitars. I love your instruments. I remember seeing Jet Boy back in the day, and Jet Boy's gonna be releasing new music. I can't wait to hear that. Billy Rowe, thank you for
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you
Uh,
for everything, and please, I please come on the show. I would be so honored if you came on the show, Billy. You are an amazing, amazing person.
yeah, tag him for the night show and do a rebro, and that would probably be a good way for him to see it. Yeah, I'm really stoked about his guitars. We actually did a show with Jet Boy. I think we were doing a show. I'm trying to remember who was on it. It might have been YNT with us. We did a lot of YNT shows back at Palladino's down here when that
Why?
was alive. Yeah, YNT. We did 3 shows. We opened for him 3 times, and that was cool. Never got to meet all the guys. Played with Gary Hoey, which was cool because I love all that surfy stuff. And let me see if I can find a good surfy piece tone here because I can switch sounds on this thing at any moment and find the right guitar to do the tone with. Just to give them a little demo.
Deborah says, thank you, Will. Doug, is this then the
What's that one?
Michael from your videos, Joe?
Yeah, Mike O. He's got a lot of stuff that he's.
And
So now you got. Dang.
awesome.
So I love this. I just love the sound of these big surfy type of surf tones. So I really got into doing a lot of that. Those big guitar sounds, it's very.
Dale, yeah.
So what do you play live? I like to try to do some of this stuff, but at the same time, when you're playing high energy, it's kind of weird to go. Do you have any advice for young musicians who want to play live? Is that one of your questions?
Yes, sir.
All right. So here's my advice. All right. You got to practice a lot. That's the first thing. Do not think that you watch somebody play or somebody around you is playing. He's been playing for a few years longer than you and you're getting frustrated. Start with a nice, cheap electric to start with, That way you're going to want to play. You'll get tired of it or you won't. But if you love it enough, you'll continue. I didn't take a lesson except for 2 or 3, to be honest with you. So if you ask me technicalities, do you know how to play in these? Yeah, I'm pretty much a pentatonic guy. That's what I know for scales. I mean, I know harmonic minors and stuff. It would be good to learn all your chords. Take the time. Just be patient and enjoy playing. I mean, that's my advice is that this has been my best friend for most of my life. Okay. These have been my best friend.
Yeah.
When you're mad, you write a song. When you're sad, you write a song. When you're happy, you write a song. I mean, it takes away all you can express so much out of the guitar. I mean, if you just do a, just picking little notes. Anything, even just. mean, I love all kinds of music. So for me, I love to pick out that Spanishy kind of, that.
Oh yeah, minor.
Yeah. So I mean, the best advice is just keep being persistent. Don't let nobody tell you can't do it. Don't let your parents tell you that, hey, man, you're too loud all the time. Why don't you go do something? Play your video game. Don't play your video. Pick this thing up. Learn how to play. Guys said it, a lot of guys were saying, I'm playing guitar for the chicks. So, yeah, when you're young, that's what you're thinking. You're going to be a big super rock god. So, my other advice is that if you're going to play music and you want to be in a band, don't look like some chump that just got off the street corner and we made here's a good one. We made the douchebag Hall of Fame pictures. And this is for the worst band shots. We were 333. I mean, out of the worst band pictures ever. We were one of them. Hall of douchebags. Imagine that. Because we looked like we just got off of, we looked ultra colorful, but we weren't really in sync. You have to look like you're bigger than life. And don't be afraid. If you're going to be like everybody else and go play in a t-shirt and a ripped pair of jeans, that's fine. But you need to look bigger. You need to walk in and say, well, that guy's a rock star. You want to be it? Be it. You wear that uniform, and that's what's important, that you guys out there think like that. Because if you don't think like that, hey, he's just a guy who plays a guitar. You don't want to be that guy that just plays a guitar. You want to walk in and say, that guy's somebody. And that's what you got to work on, keeping your image and practicing. And it means giving up a lot of stuff, man. I gave up a lot. So, and I still got a lot to learn.
I'll tell you, this right here, let's see here. There we go. This right here is my pride and joy. This is the only electric guitar I have.
Right.
See that rose there? I etched that into this Les Paul body with an etching gun, a stencil and engraving gun.
Right.
I stripped the paint off. I basically dissected. This was a Gibson Les Paul tribute that had needed pro binding. I started scraping the faux binding, scraping, and then I scraped away too much. And as you know, all it takes is one scrape. And then all of a sudden you got to start all over again.
Oh, yeah, I know.
So, and I have pickups here. I did DiMarzio Paul Gilbert PG-13.
Nice.
And right there, it's,
nice.
I have my niece's name right there, Rosie. She's from China.
Right.
And that's why I called the guitar. She's my sweet little niece who's growing up quite quickly. And so I wanted to name my Gibson Les Paul tribute after her. My tuner's in the way, but this is it. This is all I have. But it's my pride and joy. It's all I have. I cherish this guitar like a priceless diamond, and do I? Sure, I have a slot open for 3 more, and because Rosie here is tuned down at half a step.
Right.
I'm a big E flat tuner. I just really love the being tuned down a half step.
Right.
And I'm also a drop D type player too. So hence that's why I have a slot for 3 more.
Well,
And I would like to get a backup for Rosie and a backup for a drop D. I learned a lesson a long time ago. Always have a backup.
uh-huh. That's why I don't use any of the Floyd Rose ones anymore. This is my tip. Is like these. You see, it's got a trem bar on it, which is cool. Locking tuners are the key word. Spurzels, whatever company makes lockers on the tuners. Once you lock it, that should keep it pretty solid, so you can beat the hell out of it. I'm not a big fan of the Bigsby like you saw in the SG that's over on the other corner. Because you hammer the Bigsby, it just slips out of tune. And I know that certain, like you said, guys, you're a half step down, but there's guys now that are down tuned. The new metalheads are down in the C sharp. You know, that's how they're tuned.
Oh yeah, drop C sharp.
But I mean, I'm still rock and roll, so I'll drop D, and that's pretty much it. My voice carries me wherever, so I just throw it out there and see what happens. You know. So we'll see what happens. But what else you got on the list? We cover enough.
Well, this is very cool right here.
Happy
Deborah,
Halloween.
happy Halloween, Joe and Will. I have to go. Enjoy tonight, and we'll be back. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you. Subscribe to the channel. Smash that bell notification. Follow all of Joe's links, all of my links in the description box below. Can't wait to see you again. Thank you so much, Deborah. Thank you so very much for being here tonight. Happy Halloween to you as well.
Exactly.
Well, another question I had for you, Joe.
Go ahead.
Have you ever tried the Synergy modules?
Now you got me. What the hell are Synergy modules?
Okay, well, amp makers like Marshall and Friedman, Engel, Fender, the Fender Custom Shop, I believe, had a hand in making the module. What they are is they're half rack spaces, and they are designed by the actual company, like the Friedman modules. There's like 3 or 4 of them are designed by Dave Friedman himself in collaboration with the company Synergy. And you basically Synergy has an amp shell, and you put your modules in.
Kind of like the Randalls.
Yeah.
Randall had them, and you had different models for each amp. So if you wanted the Fender, you could put it into the module. No, I haven't tried them. I actually have a Randall, but I'm looking for just, this is good, because when you say modules, if you run into modules, because right here I'm using a Fender Cyber Twin. This is what I got for the house. So Cyber Twin, one of the first ones. So if I want that clean, like I want here, because that's the great Fender tone. I mean, that's the best. So, to get that kind of tone, that's Fender all the way,
Mm-hmm.
But that's one thing that's cool about the modules that you're talking about, the Synergy modules. And I remember Randall did make that, and they had different hot models to put in. So if you want to really, exactly. But no, not yet. But this thing here's got like everything in it. It's got every Fender amp ever built. This is one of the first ones before they made them combined. And the thing that sucked about this amp, which is it's great and it's bad at the same time, because I use it for recording and live. If I change the tones, and I'm gonna swap just to show you how bad it can get. So sitting here listening, watch this. You hear the volume switch? It just goes to like balls out. I'm like, no, and no. So I usually use one sound, and it's usually this one. And I recorded a lot of stuff with. To get that kind of cool, or for very bluesy. Just to get some nice blues tones. This has been the best versatile for recording. But when you play live, it's balls out, man. I use my JSX head. And I run it through a G major system. So G major is my little extra power amp, and that's pretty much all I'm running. Simple, and pedals on the floor now. I told you before I would never use pedals. It was just like amp only. Well, it turned out I became a favorite fan of the Earthquaker pedal, the Ghost Echo, which is one of my favorite. And I got a couple of other weird things. Of course, I got a wah Bad Horsey as what I'm using. I got a whammy from one of those Digitechs. I got a Strymon. I don't even know what it is. It's the one that has the tremolo and the extra reverb. And I got a MXR, whatever I can't even tell you. I just buy shit and put it on a pedal board.
Well, those Bad Horsey Raws, I have it's buried in the pedal box, but remember when Morley came out with the George Lynch Dragon?
Yeah, I remember that.
The Dragon Wah? That's the one I have. And I also have the Friedman Wah. Now, my whole idea is I don't know if I'll ever have half stacks again ever in my life, but what I would like to do is build a pedal board that I could run direct out.
That's the end thing now. My buddies, I'm good friends with Nigel Glocker from Saxon, and we talk about what the guys are hauling around, like Quinn and Doug Scarrett. They bring in these little rack mount type of things, and they put it in a suitcase and leave. That's pretty much all they need. I know that Helix, they make the Kemper. They got a Helix. What else is the other one? Headspace or Head Rush, whatever it's called. And there's amplifier. Yeah, and an amplifier also makes a pedal that you just go in and plug in. It simulates your speaker cabs and where you put the mics. So there's all kinds of new devices out there. But to me, I know going direct is the lazy man that we're over 50 ages. And we're not going to haul it. My cabinets are 120 pounds each.
That's right. Yeah.
Marshalls are about 60. So that should tell you that what used to be tough for me is even tougher today. I'm just like, I should go work out more, lift my amps. But it makes more sense, yes, to bring in this little package, put it on a stage, go home, and then you're done. Gives you more time to go chase girls and drink, That's the rock star life right there. That's what's supposed to be. Not breaking down your shit at the end of the night trying to go home. It's like, nah, I know. But that was the old me, Yeah, I never had that crazy moments, as people say. It's like sex, drugs, and rock and roll, man.
Nah. Nah, that whole lifestyle is not what it cut out. Not what it's cut out. You think it's going to be?
Well, it took out a lot of people if you think about it. The drug part really did do a lot of damage to a lot of people that aren't with us anymore. And there was a lot of great talent, but I got addicted to dope, and that was all about me, and I didn't care. So move along. I hate to say it, you wasted talent.
Yeah, I think 10 years, I would say, since you and I last saw one another. I've had a surgery in my mouth. I had an infection in my gums, and I had to have all my teeth removed.
Oh.
I had to have my gum split open. I had to have the bone in my jaw cleaned.
I done that. I know that
And I
feeling.
had to have stitched back up like Frankenstein. And it was a 6 month recovery process. A month went by. I didn't smoke. I just nothing worked. And after 40 years of smoking cigarettes, I just dropped it.
Well, that's probably a good idea.
I just dropped it because I went through that first month was kind of difficult. But after I got past that first month, it my higher power, man, just took it right away from me. And it that's you were talking about the motorcycle and you were talking about hitting the pavement and having your moment of clarity. Well, that was all part of my moment of clarity.
Well, thank God you're still here, and that's one of the things you got to keep pushing. You open up a radio show for yourself, and same thing here. My
Yeah,
buddy asked me one day, "You want to be on a radio show?" Next thing I know, I'm taking over the station. But we actually made this thing work out pretty well, and I had no clue that it would get as big as it did. And I've got some pretty famous guys on my show that, I mean, legends of the sport, drag racing. So I've always been a fan of it, and it's been good to me, and it's paid back 10 times over, as far as the show. Just like it's opening up doors for you to open up a music show and share the love. So, you got to keep on pushing forward. You got your wife, you got good things in your life. You wake up every day and be thankful, and that's we forget it, and we always take for granted that person that you care about, you talk to, is going to be there, and you wish you could have said goodbye to that person, but you never know. So treasure every moment. That's my
every
I,
moment.
I think that should be a parting thought. That should be the last thoughts of the night. Say, hey, treasure those moments.
It could all be done in the blink of an eye, and I know it's happened to me. I know it's happened to me more than once. I'm very fortunate, and I'm really hoping that everything that I'm putting into the show here and everything that I put put other things on hold and that were hard for me to do, it's because I believe in what I'm doing. And
That's
it's
what you got.
what I love doing, and this is what I need to do, and I'm really hoping for those doors to open up, and I'm hoping that that enough kind souls will donate to my PayPal account, and I'm really hoping I'm on a musical mission. That's the best way I could say it. I'm on a musical mission to reach as many people as I possibly can, to inspire as many people as I possibly can before my time comes.
I'll keep on digging, my brother, because that's all we can do. And I think that you've got a good platform to start with, and just keep reaching. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to ask people that you would think would say no, because I've asked people, and some of the biggest regrets. And I'll tell you a good one, because this one. I got to meet Tom McEwen, the mongoose, right? Snake and mongoose. If you were any drag racing fans, so I always used to see him at the hot rod reunion and at the March meet, and he always looked so mad. I met him years ago because my grandfather and uncle were scouts for the San Francisco Giants, and Jack Clark ran the Mobile One drag racer, dragster, and Tom was the driver. So I got to meet him years ago, but he always looked so mad. Tom, that was just his look. So I finally got to meet him. He hands me a business card. We're having a cool chat. He goes, call me. I'll get on the show. So I was afraid to call him. About 3 months later, he died. I could have had the opportunity to get him on the show. But now, don't be afraid to ask for. Hey, if you want to get after Eddie Van Halen, send him a note. You want to get somebody big on the show, send them a note. That's all you got to do. The worst they can say is no. So what? I'm working on trying to get a show going, and like I said, I've used some of my buddies that I met along the way to get them on the show and open up that door for me. And of course, that's what life is about. We all make a connection to each other, and we just keep moving. We just got to keep it going and treasure those interviews that you get and share them and look back on them and say, yeah, I had some cool people. When I do my list every couple of weeks, I'm up to 7 pages of guys that have been legendary in the sport of drag racing and rock and roll. So you're trying to do this and build it. Don't be afraid to ask for big guys. Don't be afraid to ask for Gary Hoey. Don't be afraid to say, hey, you got time to be on a show? I got a 20-minute slot. Don't make it 3 hours or whatever. Just do what I do, 30 minutes. And if you want to get them back and they love the show, keep them coming back. That's my best advice, my brother.
Thank you, Joe. And I'm getting better at it. I'm getting better. I that's when I shot an email to Rock and Roll Relic Guitars, and I just broke it down real quick. I introduced myself like I do in all my emails, and I was really shocked. I was really surprised. Sometimes I don't hear anything. Sometimes I get a not right now, time conflicting. Hey, I can dig it. I understand what that's about.
Exactly.
No problem there. But when I get an email and somebody says, yeah, well, I'd love to do it, I'm like thinking to myself, am I really ready for this? I'm just going for it. I'm doing
Why
it.
not? Why not?
I'm going for it. And I'm very fortunate. I have Alex Radford coming up from Radford Studios up in San Francisco, up in the Bay Area, in a couple weeks. And I have Jay Parmar coming back in December from Spirit Dance Guitars. Jay Parmar in England in December coming back. So I'm trying to have somebody every week. And the times when I'm not going to be able to get anybody is when I play or do a little pedal demonstration or something. Just as long as I do something every week. Well, another question that I have for you, Joe Wallen, have you ever had plans to shoot a video playing live?
Well, there's a lot of live videos, but I need to actually do one. If you look on Facebook right now from the Hot Rod reunion, there's going to be a ton of little blurbs of live footage. If you go to YouTube and look me up, Joe Walla, you'll find a ton of oddball pieces from fans. So yeah, there's stuff everywhere out there. But the new project is to probably get a new album put together with some new songs and shoot some videos and do some pictures. And that's if you go to joewallaband.com, you'll see what we created in the last few months, and I've got links to certain things on there. So if you go down, there's a shop for the shirts, for the new shirts we just got, and how to book us and how to get in touch with us. So we're definitely looking to travel this year. I need an actual agent that can do the hard work, basically make the phone calls, which I used to be able to do, but I can't because I run a company with a partner, and we're busy throughout the day, so I don't have time to get on the phone call and, hey, what's going on? And then I got to hear everybody saying, well, he's booking his band on our time, so I can't do that anymore. So I used to. So I need an agent. I definitely need somebody who wants to make a little bit of money, and we're going to be generous with the scrape off of the top. So if you're out there listening to us, man, get in contact with me. Facebook, JoeWallaRocks at Gmail. That's and then JoeWallaBand.com. Take a look at us, and we're traveling. We want to get out there and look forward to seeing everybody.
Well, Gary, perfect. Denise Gilbert said, "Walls out."
Balls out. It's walls out. Hey, thanks a lot, Gary. This is what we're doing today.
Thank you, Gary. Happy Halloween. Thank you so much for being here today. And tonight.
Fractal. Yeah, I forgot about Fractal, Gary. I forgot. Fractal's just as bitching, too. I'm glad you guys. Right on. Doug, thanks for romping in.
Well, thank you, Doug.
Yeah, it's probably I've seen Joe Wall in the desert with the he saw that video. That was on Walla World.
Red Beaver Card Check.
Yeah, we had a song that we used to play on there. It was just like and it was just kind of rocking. It was called Nasty Girl. I don't know if we played it back in the day, but it just had that. I know, I love it. I know. Stop playing guitar. I know my neighbors will start pounding on the floor now. It's getting close to that time, so I probably should cut loose pretty soon. But
so is that the Paul Reed Smith PRS artist?
This is the artist model, the custom 24 artist.
That's beautiful, Joe.
I'm not a big fan of this top. I was never a fan of the brownish color guitars, and I own a ton of them. I got a ton of them. I'm like, wow. Now it's all about seafoam green.
Well, I'll tell you. I mean,
or how about that one?
Oh, look at that.
This is this is one of the 100 anniversary ones. The one that's signed, hand signed, not like the Les Paul that you normally see. So I picked this one up.
I remember those, yeah.
A weird one. Oddball. Something that I don't normally bring out that often. I have a green one just like that as well. A seafoam green. Got a red double cutaway sitting on the other side of the wall. A white one. A lemon burst. I don't know what's behind me. I think there's another one. Oh, there's a brown one behind me. It's a root beer. The rock and roll relic. So I put that in the Les Paul category.
That's beautiful. Yeah, Billy Rowe, man.
Yeah, send him a note. Tell him you know some clown that wants to be part of his stable, and I'm not looking to get him for free. I just want to know if I could be part of the artist stable because I love the guitars as well.
No, when I get a reply email, I'm definitely gonna shoot him a line back, and I'm gonna definitely mention you. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, he's pretty cool, man. I love this stuff. So, Joe, you got any more questions, or shall we just take it on home, my brother?
Well, let's see, Joe. Do you have any questions for me?
What's your favorite color?
What's my favorite telly?
Oh, color.
Would be a 62 blonde Telecaster.
There you go. We got tellies, you know that.
I really need a Telecaster. Jimmy Page, man.
Nah, you need one of these, man. Let me see if I can get this in. This is
Yes.
Taylor. It's not a Telecaster. It is a Telecaster, but it's not. It's got Jason Lawler pickups in it. Here's a little rip on it. Just Lawler. Hey, just roll time steak. Yeah, this thing's beautiful. I didn't think I would like it at first, and then I started playing it. The neck feels like it's butter. I got another company that does tellies too, and I got one that's called Iconic Guitars. The guy's out of San Diego, and he's got some nice tellies and strats that he makes. So just throwing it out there to a lot of these guys. But this guy, John Paler, he's out of New Orleans area, out Louisiana. He makes badass guitars. Look him up, Paler, Palir. He's awesome. Also got another buddy out there too who's built me a couple of guitars, Don Myers, and he's not doing them as much. He hand builds everything, so that was one of the cool things. That was like my first Les Paul, even though it wasn't a Les Paul because it was a Les Paul pickup configuration. And I've been really blessed, man. I got guys that built stuff. I got McDaniel's Strats. He's a local builder, and the only thing I didn't like about them, they play bitch and they are rock. I don't want to change it up because it's all original, but it needs some pickups. They're not as ballsy as a Les Paul or a standard Strat. They're antiquity pickups, but I think it needs a little more huevos in them. But yeah, that's my thought. What else you got for me?
Well, I'll tell you, Joe. I being a guitarist myself, not quite at your level, but you know, I have a passion for it, and I love minor pentatonics. Right now I'm working on a piece of music that's like 7th and 9th fret oriented with I'm not too sure. 45 years of playing, I'm not too sure what the name of this chord is, but I think it's like a hybrid chord, right? Let's see here. Let's see here. I'm gonna have to turn the camera a little bit. There we go. That's a little better. Kind of I just kind of stumbled upon this. There we are. Get some light. There we go. I just kind of stumbled upon this at the ninth and 7th fret, or 8th and 9th fret, and then moved the transition down to the 4th or 5th fret and dropped the index finger down on the B string and then back, and it has like this there's just this overtone. You know, there's like this overtone, man. It's absolutely. I'm not too sure what those chords are, but I just love the way they sound.
Kind of like this tone.
Yeah,
it's kind of like a suspended almost, but it's open with the last couple of notes. So yeah, I use that a lot for a lot of the metal stuff with that.
Oh, there you go.
So a lot of that bite right there, you know, to get that in A. I use that more in A than it would do in E, but
Yeah, exactly.
so it kind of has that kind of rip. Like
I love that.
it's the same like the Satriani kind of feel.
Mhm.
You know, all this ripping stuff. I got to slow down one day. I used to just like to just play the one note with that. I know I suck. Stop playing. All right, enough of that. I know. Hey, Doug, I seen Joe Wall. Oh, yeah, I seen that at the Red Beamer. He saw that video. But that's cool. I'm glad everybody tuned in tonight. Ask you had to ask about color. He laughs. My buddy Pete tuned in. I
So
played a
what
little.
about color? What's your favorite color?
Oh, I don't have any. We talk about, you know, we had our buddy Dave Kawakami on, who's been listening tonight, and we had him on the show because he asked some, you know, straight on questions that you wouldn't expect. So I think he was asking what was the color, what we like or whatever, and we had him on the show and we were doing the same thing back to him. So that's kind of been our inside joke, and I love the guys, and these guys are all working hard just like you to do their show. So we're all brothers in the world of broadcasting now.
That's phenomenal.
Hey, Mikey. Nice,
Mike,
Michael.
welcome.
So cool, man. I figure it's getting late, so I don't want to stay out too late. You know, got to go chase down my little woman, make sure she's okay. Joe, you don't do tellies. I know he's watching. At least I know he's watching. Yeah, I know. This is a special telly. It's great for this.
Well, something that I always tell my the good folks that take the time to watch me and to watch the Dreaming Guitarist show is stay inspired, everybody. Stay
Exactly.
inspired. Stay inspired. Part of my musical mission is to reach as many people as I can because I've overcome a lot in my life and I beat the odds. Um, I have no idea how many times, and I'm very fortunate. And I want to make the most out of this vision that I have, and I want to reach as many people as I can and inspire as many people as I can to be the best person they can be and to be everything that they could be and to go for your dreams and to stand for who you are and to believe in your heart and soul who you are. Stand up and be counted. And I want to reach as many people as I can. I'm not trying to become a millionaire. I'm not trying to line my pockets. I'm just trying to do and reach as many people as I can on my musical mission. And that is the whole reason why I'm doing this. This is what I love. This is who I am. This is what I believe in. And all the roads in my life have led to this very moment, folks. This very moment. Right now, with my good brother, Mr. Joe Walla, with others that have come on the show, please help me. And I wanna touch as many people as I can because I want to see more people dig inside themselves and discover what their passion is in life and cultivate it. It's a
Exactly.
beautiful experience It's a
Exactly.
beautiful experience, everybody. And that's why I started a YouTube channel. That's why I'm on Instagram. That's why I'm on Facebook. That's why I'm on Twitter. I'm new at all of this, but really, and like I always say, be sure to follow, support, share links, and subscribe to all of the links in the description box below. It's so very important, everybody. Joe thanks you, and
Thank you. Thank you,
I
brother.
thank you. Join our brotherhood and our community so we all can work together to inspire the world.
Amen.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
guys.
Thank you so much. Everybody that loves Joe, everybody that respects Joe Walla as much as I respect Joe Walla, everybody that wants to be a part of my musical mission, everybody's welcome. If you feel like you don't belong, and if you feel like you're an outcast, or if you feel like that you don't have any hope in life, guess what? Neither
Step
do
up.
I.
Step up. Let's get out of that funk and get going, right?
You know,
Life's too short to sit on the curb, buddy. It's too short to do anything like that. I already told you from my own experience. So, yeah, everybody out there, please. Thanks, Mikey. I wish I saw you at the Hot Rod reunion. I would have thrown you a guitar. And hope you're doing well, brother. Hope you're healing well. And everybody who tuned in tonight, God bless you all, man. And thanks for tuning in.
thank
And
you.
thanks for having me, Will. I really appreciate you, brother. We'll have to do this as life goes on. I'll have to get you on my show one night.
I would love to be a part of that, and it would be an honor and a privilege for sure. And I'd love to have you back, Joe. And if you hold on for a second, I just want to say goodbye to everybody, and I thank you. Joe Walla thanks you on behalf of Joe Walla, on behalf of the mission that Joe Walla is on behalf of the Joe Walla Band, on behalf of Guitar Streaming 352. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so very, very much for being here. Be on the lookout. Subscribe to my channel. Smash that bell notification. Alex Radford is coming up live from San Francisco, California, pretty soon. And Jay Parmar is coming back in December. Hang out, folks, and be a part of this community. It's the best community in the world to be a part of. I'm telling you. Remember, you found a home with Guitar Streaming 352 and Joe Walla. And on that note, I love you all. Thank you, everybody. God bless you. Thank you for being a part of this most magical evening. And I hope to see everybody in the next live stream.